No one on Earth knew the war had already begun. It started not with a bang, but with a whisper from deep space. A strange signal, long, rhythmic, and cold, was picked up by an old, forgotten satellite. Scientists thought it was just a static. They were wrong. In a secret lab under the Arctic ice, a young woman named Alara worked alone. She wasn't a soldier, or a spy, or a queen. She was a linguist, a quiet girl who loved ancient languages and drank too much coffee. But that night, she became the first human to understand the signal. It wasn't noise. It was a message. And it was not from Earth. Elara decoded only a few words. The girl is found. Prepare the fleet. She froze. Who was the girl? Why were they coming? And more importantly, who sent it? She sent the signal to her boss at the Global Defense Network. But before she got a reply, the lab's power went out. Silence. Darkness. Then the ground shook. Far above Earth, hidden behind the moon, a fleet of alien ships began to move. They were sleek, black, and deadly. At the center was a massive cruiser shaped like a serpent. On that ship stood a prince, his skin silver blue, his eyes glowing like stars. Prince Kale of the Verex Empire. He looked at a hologram of Earth and spoke one word, Alara. 3 days later, the skies broke open. People looked up and screamed as lights appeared in the sky. Not bombs, not fire, but ships. Giant alien ships. They hovered above major cities, New York, Tokyo, Cairo, Mumbai, but they didn't attack. Instead, one by one, messages appeared in the sky. Not on screens, but written in light for everyone to see. In every language on Earth, the message said the same thing. We seek the Starborn. Return her, and there will be peace. Nobody knew what it meant. Governments panicked. Soldiers loaded weapons. Scientists debated. But deep underground, Alara already knew. They were looking for her. Didn't know why. She had no powers, no strange birthmark, no lost alien heritage. She was just a girl who liked old words and quiet nights. But they wanted her. All of them. Kale wasn't the only prince who came. Soon, 3 more alien empires arrived. The tall, golden Alarians. The sharp, insect-like Nith. The glowing, storm-born Zarani. Each one sent a prince. Each one demanded Elara. Each one promised peace in exchange for her, surrender. But none of them explained why. Some called her the Starborn bride. Others said she was the key. All agreed on one thing: she was not allowed to choose a human. That's when the unexpected happened. Captain Ray Donovan, just a regular human soldier with a damaged past, was assigned to guard her. At first, Alara ignored him. He was blunt, rude, always eating bad protein bars. But Ray didn't care about the aliens. He cared about her safety. That's all. And slowly, she began to trust him. He taught her how to shoot, how to hide, how to survive. She asked why he helped. His answer was simple: because no one should be hunted for who they are. The alien princes became restless. One tried to kidnap her. Ray stopped him with a broken arm and a stolen blaster. Another tried to bribe her with riches. She laughed in his face. The third sent dreams into her mind. She woke up screaming. Then, Kale, the Verex prince, visited Earth himself. He asked her one question: why do you protect a planet that hides you like a prisoner? She replied without blinking: because it's my home. Kale studied her, not with anger, not with pity, with curiosity. Then he said something she didn't expect. You were never meant to be hidden. You were meant to choose. But choose. What? No one would tell her. The empires prepared for war. Earth stood in the middle, small, weak, and alone. All because of a girl who didn't even understand her own importance. But the galaxy had made one mistake. They thought humans were easy to crush. They had no idea what Elara would do next. The world changed overnight. Every government, every military, every news channel now asked the same question: who is Elara? But even she didn't know. Deep inside an underground base, Elara sat across from Captain Ray Donovan. He looked tired. So did she. "I'm not special," she whispered. "I didn't ask for this." Ray shook his head. "They're not chasing you because of who you are. They're chasing you because of what you'll become." Those words haunted her. The Global Defense Council decided to move Elara to a safer location, a secret station floating above Earth. Only a few trusted people were allowed on board. Ray came too. He refused to leave her side. As the station rose through the clouds, Elara saw Earth from above for the first time. It was beautiful, peaceful, but she knew it wouldn't stay that way. The alien fleets were getting closer, and time was running out. On the second day in space, Elara had a dream. She stood in a white room. No doors, no windows. Just stars all around. In the center, 4 alien princes stood in a circle. Kale of Virex, Ver of Zoran, Zix of Nif, and Elion of Ilaria. They weren't fighting. They were speaking in a language she had never heard yet. Somehow understood. The words echoed in her mind. She carries the map. The key has awakened. One will bond. The rest must fall. She woke up shaking. Her skin was glowing faintly blue. Ray stared. What the hell? Before either of them could speak, alarms blared. The station was under attack. A Neef assassin ship had broken through Earth's defenses. Small, fast, and sharp like a blade, it pierced the station's hull. Ray grabbed Elara and ran through the corridor, yelling for backup. Smoke filled the air. Metal screamed. Gravity twisted. They reached the escape pods just in time, but before they could launch, something slammed into the pod door. An alien stood there, tall, thin, insect-like. Its eyes burned yellow. It didn't speak. It just reached for Elara. Ray fired first. The alien dodged, knocked him to the ground. Elara screamed, and then something exploded from her skin. Light. Pure, bright light. It blasted the alien backward into the wall. When she looked at her hands, they were glowing. Ray coughed, staring at her in disbelief. "You single quotes read. One of them." She shook her head. "I don't know what I am." They launched the pod. Hours later, they landed in the Nevada desert. The skies were quiet, but Elara was not. "What did I do?" she asked. "That light, what was it?" Ray knelt beside her. "You saved us. That's what matters." But deep down, he was scared, not of her, but of what the alien princes might do now that she had awakened. Far above Earth, Prince Kale watched a recording of the escape pod. He saw the light. He saw the alien fall. He said only one word: "She's begun." In a dark chamber behind him, an old Virex oracle appeared. "She is more than the Starborn," the oracle said. "She carries the seed of choice." Kale turned. "So she can choose one of us. Or none." "Yes," the oracle said. "And if she chooses the human. The empires fall." Kale clenched his jaw. Back on Earth, Elara and Ray were taken to a hidden desert base. Scientists wanted to run tests. She refused. Ray stood with her. Then something strange happened. Kale sent a message. Not a threat, not a demand, a request. "Let me speak to her. Alone." The council refused, but Elara didn single quotes t. She wanted answers. And maybe part of her wanted to know why he, out of all the princes, looked at her not like a weapon, but like a question. The meeting was set. Ray didn't like it, but he trusted her. "I'll be waiting," he said. "If he touches you, I shoot," she smiled. "Thanks." In the center of the base, Kale arrived in a silver suit with no weapons. Ilara stood tall. Talk fast. He bowed slightly. You don't understand what's happening, do you? No, she said. So explain. Kale looked at her, not with power, but with quiet respect. You are the last of a bloodline that was supposed to die. Long ago, our empires made a pact. No human should carry the star seed. But your ancestors broke the rule. They hid you on Earth. Why? She asked. Because you are the only one who can end the war. By choosing one empire or choosing none. She stared at him. What if I choose a human? Kale's face darkened. Then everything burns. The moment Ilara said the word human, the temperature in the room seemed to drop. Prince Kale didn't speak. He just stared at her, his glowing eyes full of something new. Not anger. Not fear. Double quotes ELARA, he said slowly. Do you understand what that choice means? She crossed her arms. Not fully. But I know I won't be forced to pick someone just because your empires say so. Kale turned away. If you walk this path, billions will die. She didn't blink. Then, maybe your galaxy needs to change. The council didn't like it. Earth's leaders begged Ilara to stay neutral. Don't provoke them, they warned. Don't choose anyone yet. But it was too late. News of her words choosing a human had already spread. Across the stars, millions watched the footage. People cheered on Earth, but in the alien empires, riots, rage, fear. She had just become a symbol. The princes met in secret. Kale, Vare, Zix, Elion. They stood around a dark table shaped like a star. Each one had a reason to hate each other. But this time, they shared a common threat. Ilara's freedom. She has awakened the starseed, Elion said. She is becoming too powerful. She must be taken, hissed Zix. No, Kale said sharply. If we force her, we lose everything. So we wait for her to destroy us? Vare snapped. Kale said nothing, but his silence was not agreement. It was strategy. Back on Earth, Ilara was changing. Her dreams were stronger. Her senses sharper. She could feel thoughts in the air. She could read languages she'd never studied. One night, she touched a glass of water and it turned to light. Ray saw it all. He didn't run. Didn't flinch. You're still you, he said. She looked at him. But for how long? He smiled. Long enough for me to keep annoying you. That made her laugh. It was the first time she had smiled in weeks. But the peace didn't last. One night, Ray and Ilara were walking near the desert cliffs when a sudden wind hit them. The stars above turned red. A hole opened in the sky. A portal. And from it came a new figure, not a prince. Not even fully alive. It was a construct. A being made of memory and starlight. It called itself the Archivist. Ilara, it spoke, its voice like metal and wind. You have triggered the final branch. What does that mean? She asked. The future will divide. 4 paths remain. One ends in fire. One in silence. One in rebirth. One in exile. And what decides which path we take? The Archivist pointed at Ray. The one you trust. Then it vanished. The next day, the alien empire sent an ultimatum. Choose now or war begins. Ilara stood before the cameras of every empire, and every country. Her hands trembled. Not from fear, but from the weight of what her voice could do. She looked at the galaxy. I am not a weapon, she said. I am not a prize. She turned to Ray. I choose the one who saw me before the light, before the power, before the princes. She reached for his hand. I choose the human. The galaxy held its breath. Then chaos exploded. The Nith Empire declared war instantly. Zix's ships began moving toward Earth. The Ilarian crown froze all peace talks. The Zorani turned their sun cruisers toward Earth's moon base, but something stranger happened. Kale. Didn't move his fleet. He didn't speak. He simply watched Alara's speech over and over. Behind him, his advisor whispered, "You should have taken her when you had the chance." Kale replied, "No, I want her to come to me, willingly. But she chose the human." Kale's voice was quiet. "She hasn't chosen forever." Back on Earth, Ray and Alara were taken into a mobile fortress deep under the Rocky Mountains. World above prepared for war, but the world below prepared for something else. Elara was now the key to a prophecy older than Earth's history. Scientists found ancient alien writings hidden in her DNA. The message was clear. The Starborn must awaken fully before the third moon eclipse, or the gate will open. What gate? Ray asked. No one knew, but satellites soon picked up a strange structure moving near Saturn. It wasn't a ship. It was a door, and something was knocking. Asterisk. The strange structure near Saturn was not a ship. It was ancient, massive, older than all four empires combined. And it was waking up. No one knew who built it, not even the archivist. But one thing was certain. When Alara spoke her choice, the gate responded. It had waited for her. In the underground fortress, Alara stood in front of a screen showing the object, a black ring, miles wide, rotating slowly. Humming. Ray stood beside her. He whispered, "It looks like it's alive." "It is," said a voice from behind them. Kale. He had arrived on Earth. Alone. Everyone was on edge. Security had guns ready. But Kale raised no weapon. He simply walked into the room, eyes on Alara. "This is not an invasion," he said. "It's a warning." Ray stepped forward. "She doesn't need your warnings." Kale ignored him. "That is the celestial gate. It opens only when the Starborn chooses, and now it has heard her voice." Alara narrowed her eyes. "What's behind it?" Kale's tone darkened. "A prison. And something inside that should never be freed." Ray scoffed. "Convenient story." Kale turned slowly. "Do you really believe she was born just to pick a husband? Her choice was never about marriage. It was about which part of the galaxy survives." Alara sat in silence that night, thinking about the gate. Kale's words echoed in her mind. Which part of the galaxy survives? She had thought choosing Ray was the end of it, but it was only the beginning. Now her choice had triggered something cosmic, something buried in time. She remembered the archivist's words. 4 paths remain: fire, silence, rebirth, exile. What if the gate decided which one? The next morning, Earth sent a ship to approach the gate. A research team of scientists, drones, and armed guards went inside the black ring. They disappeared within minutes. No signal, no bodies. Just one message beamed back in an old language Alara could read. "Only the Starborn may pass." The council panicked. They asked Alara to go. They called it a mission. Ray called it what it was: a gamble. "They want to send you into a hole in space with no way back." Alara touched his hand. "I have to go. I need to know who I really am and what this gate wants." Ray stared into her eyes. "Then I'm going with you." Kale stood at the edge of the room. "So am I." They both looked at him. Kale raised a hand. "Not as a prince, as a witness." Ray shook his head. "You just want her to see you risk your life." Kale smiled faintly. "If that helps her believe me, so be it." The three of them, Alara, Ray, Kale, boarded a fast stealth ship and flew toward Saturn. It took hours. During the flight, silence filled the cabin, until Alara asked the question that had haunted her for weeks. "Why me?" Kale answered softly, "Because long ago, your bloodline chose love over power. One of the Starborn ancestors fell in love with a human. That choice made you." Ray looked at her. So you were never meant to be one of them? I was never meant to exist, Ilara said. They reached the gate. It didn't attack, didn't react, until Ilara stepped forward. The ring glowed. The center twisted. A portal formed, like water turning inside out. Without a word, Ilara walked through. Ray followed. Then Kale. What they saw inside was not space. It was memory. The gate didn't take them across distance. It took them through time. They stood in a floating city made of light, orbiting a dead star. Around them were statues of people with glowing eyes, Starborn ancestors. They watched visions. The first Starborns arguing about Earth, the pact to keep humans away from power. One woman breaking the rule, falling in love, and running. The last vision showed a baby with glowing veins placed in a small Earth pod. Elara. Kale whispered, "They tried to erase you from history." Ilara said nothing. Her eyes were wet. Not with fear, but with understanding. Then the gate spoke. Not with a voice, with feeling. Your blood is truth. Your choice is fire. One more gate will open. One more trial will come. Choose again, and the stars will kneel. The vision faded. The three of them stood inside a silent chamber. Suddenly, the gate began to close. They ran. Just in time, the stealth ship escaped back into space, but the gate didn't vanish. It turned. Slowly, aimed at Earth. The gate was moving. Slowly, silently, it turned toward Earth like an eye waking up. No weapon fired. No threat spoken, but every scientist knew. This was not a coincidence. It was judgment. Ilara sat alone in the return ship. Ray and Kale argued in the control room behind her. She didn't care. She was still shaking from what the gate showed her. Her past, her origin, her purpose. Not to choose a prince. Not even to stop a war. To pass a trial. But no one knew what the trial was. Only that Earth was the center of it. Back at the Earth Defense Command, chaos was everywhere. The satellite feeds showed the gate's rotation. Leaders panicked. Military commanders gave quiet orders to prepare weapons. Civilian news channels went dark. Then the gate sent a new signal. A single word appeared on every screen. Submit. The council turned to Ilara. You're the only one it listens to, they said. Ray stepped in front of her. Don't pressure her. She's not your tool. But Kale was silent. He finally spoke. I believe this is not the gate's true message, Ray scoffed. You always think you know better. No, Kale said. I know worse. That night, Ilara received a private message. Not from Earth, not from any prince, from someone claiming to be Starborn hiding on a lost planet, forgotten by all four empires. The message was brief. You are not the last. The gate is not what it seems. Find me before it's too late. It included coordinates. Far beyond any safe route. Through a dead zone called the Veil Drift, Ilara told Ray. He was immediately suspicious. It could be a trap. I know, she said. But what if it's not? Kale stepped forward. If there are other Starborn, they could explain what the gate really wants. Ray frowned. You trust him too easily. Ilara looked between them. I'm not asking for permission. I'm going. Ray shook his head, but he followed her anyway. So did Kale. They left Earth again, this time, alone and in silence. Behind them, the gate continued to turn, and time was running out. The Veil Drift was not like normal space. It was dark, thick, cold. Their ship systems glitched constantly. Strange shadows moved outside the windows. The journey took 4 days. On the 5th, they reached the planet. Dead, gray, no light, no atmosphere, but something was there, hidden beneath the ground. A signal. Ilara, Ray, and Kale landed and walked into a broken temple buried under black stone. There, in a glass chamber, lay a woman, alive, breathing, glowing faintly. She opened her eyes. "Elara," she whispered, "daughter of Forbidden's fire." Her name was Lyra, and she was Starborn, one of the originals, hidden for centuries in stasis by rebels who feared what the empires had become. She told Elara the truth. The gate was never a prison, it was a judge. A final test placed by those who came before us. What test? Elara asked. Lyra's face grew dark. The gate doesn't care who you love. It cares who you protect. The trial is not about choice. It's about sacrifice. Elara's heart skipped. What do I have to sacrifice? Lyra didn't answer. She only said, you must return to Earth before the next eclipse. Or the gate. We'll decide for you. As they prepared to leave, Kale received a message, encrypted, from his own empire. Urgent. He read it. His face changed. Ray noticed. What is it? Kale hesitated, then said quietly, the Varix fleet is already moving toward Earth. They plan to use the gate's power to destroy your planet. Before it destroys them. Ray lunged at him. You knew this would happen. Kale didn't fight back. I tried to stop them. I still can, but only if Elara trusts me. Elara stood between them. I don't know who to trust anymore. She said. Ray looked her in the eyes. Trust the one who would die for you, not rule you. Kale looked away. He knew what she would choose, but what he said next changed everything. You must leave me here. What? Elara asked. Kale nodded. If I return, they will think I betrayed them, but if I stay, I can delay the attack. I'll buy you time. Ray stared at him. And for the first time, he didn't see a prince. He saw a man ready to give up everything. Elara and Ray left. Kale stood alone on the black planet. Behind them, the stars trembled, and the gate began to glow white. The trial had started. The moon darkened. Across the planet, people looked up as the shadow began. The final eclipse had started, and so had the trial. The gate, now glowing white with energy, released a sound, low, endless, like a heartbeat shaking the stars, and with it, the fleets came. Not one, not two, all 4 alien empires, not to protect Earth, not to make peace, but to fight for control of the gate. Elara and Ray returned just in time. Earth's sky was filled with light, beautiful and terrifying. Alien ships in formation, weapons hot, shields charged. Ray stepped out of the ship and looked up. We're out of time. Elara didn't speak. She could feel the gate inside her mind now. It whispered possibilities, futures, sacrifices. She saw fire. She saw Ray dying. She saw Earth cracked open like an egg, and she saw herself standing alone at the center of it all. Council collapsed into fear. No one knew what to do. Earth's defenses were strong, but not strong enough. The empires had centuries of war behind them, and now they wanted to finish the battle here. Elara stepped forward. Stop trying to fight them, she said. Everyone stared. They're not the threat, she continued. The gate is. At that moment, a single Zorani ship broke formation. It dove into the atmosphere heading straight for Earth's capital. Ray and Elara were rushed into a shuttle and sent to intercept. In the sky above the city, they saw the ship open. Inside was Prince Vaer, glowing with electricity, eyes like storms. He spoke to Elara directly. You've had your choice. Now let me show you mine. And he fired. Nodded her. At the city below. Ray swerved the shuttle. The blast missed, but buildings collapsed. People screamed. Fire broke out. Elara gritted her teeth and activated her power. This time she didn't just glow. She became light. She vanished from the shuttle and reappeared in front of Vaer's ship, hovering mid-air, a starborn halo burning around her. Voice rang out like thunder. No more war. Vaer aimed again, but Ray had already launched the ship's missile. It hit Vare's craft mid-engine. The ship spun and crashed into the ocean. The first shot of the Eclipse War was over, but the real battle had just begun. In orbit, the fleets opened fire. Kale's fleet joined late, but when it did, it fired at the other empires. He had kept his word. He was stalling them, sacrificing his own empire's alliance, but it wasn't enough. The gate opened, not into space. Into another reality. From it came a creature of black fire, with no face, just thousands of voices. It had no name. It had no loyalty. It had only one purpose: to feed on worlds. The empires didn't know what they had awakened, but Ilara did. She remembered what Lyra had said. The gate was a judge, and it had just found all of them guilty. The creature moved like smoke and lightning, eating ships whole. Entire fleets vanished. Even Kale's ships couldn't slow it down. Ray and Ilara returned to the command center. "We have to close the gate," she shouted. A general turned. "How?" Ilara paused, looked at Ray. And finally understood. "It only closes with a sacrifice." She started walking to the launch bay. Ray ran after her. "What are you doing?" "I'm the reason it opened. I'm the one it wants." "No," Ray said, grabbing her arm. "That's what it wants you to believe, that only you matter." "But that's not true." She looked at him, tears in her eyes. "If I don't go, Earth dies." Ray held her face gently. "If you die, Earth survives, but broken. That's not saving us, that's losing us." She leaned into him, whispered, "Then come with me." Together they flew one last time, toward the gate, toward the monster. Kale's voice came through the comms. "Don't do this alone." His ship appeared beside theirs, battered, burning, but still flying. "3 of us started this," he said. "Let 3 of us finish it." The monster turned toward them. The gate pulsed. Ilara took Ray's hand, and Kale's mind. Together, they pushed their light forward, not to fight, to seal. The gate trembled. The voices screamed. The eclipse reached its peak. And then, silence. The gate closed. The monster was gone, and so were they. Across Earth, the skies cleared. The fleets vanished. The war was over, but so was Elara. Or so everyone thought. 1 month later, a child found something on a beach. A glowing crystal. Inside it, a heartbeat. Not dead, just waiting. It had been 30 days since the gate vanished from the sky. No more glowing fleets. No more alien demands. No more fire in the stars. Earth had survived, but it hadn't escaped unchanged. People spoke of Ilara like a myth. They called her the Lightbringer, the last Starborn, the girl who chose Earth. Statues were built. Songs were written, but those who knew her best, like Ray's old squad, or the scientists who studied the gate, never used grand names. They just said, "She saved us." Not because she was powerful, because she was brave. And she was gone, or so they believed. In a small fishing village on the coast of Iceland, a boy named Kieran found a crystal. It pulsed with light, not a weapon, not a machine. It felt alive. The boy took it to an old shelter, wrapped it in cloth, and hid it. That night, he dreamed. In the dream, he saw a woman made of stars. Eyes like oceans, hair like shadow and flame. She smiled at him. "You're not alone," she whispered. "We are always reborn." Across the galaxy, something was shifting. Without the gate, the empires lost their center. The Nith retreated into silence. The Zorani ships scattered like dust. The Ilarians began building again, this time without a crown. And Kale? No one saw him after that day. Some said he vanished with Ilara. Others said he stayed in the shadow worlds, protecting her name from those who would twist it. But the truth was quieter. Kale was watching. Waiting. Not for war, for what came next. Ray's Body was never found, but his name was written on the moon memorial wall alongside Ilara's. She had held his hand until the end, and many believed he became part of the gate itself, merged into its final seal. Some nights, you could still see flashes of light near Saturn. Scientists said it was space dust, but others said it was a promise that they weren't really gone, just waiting. 10 years passed. The boy Kieran grew. The crystal stayed with him. He didn't know why, only that it mattered. He didn't glow. He couldn't fly. He didn't have visions. Until the night of the second eclipse. He stood on a hill, holding the crystal. And this time, it spoke. Not with words, with memory. He saw Ilara, not a goddess, not a soldier, a girl, lonely, brave, kind. He saw Ray, broken but steady, Kale, proud but learning to let go. He saw the gate, the war, the final light, and then himself, standing where Ilara once stood, with a choice, not to save a world. To shape. A new voice came. Soft, familiar. Elara. Double quotes. This is not the end. This is the seed. You are not me. You are better. And now, it's your turn. Kieran looked up at the stars. He didn't know what kind of trial was coming. He didn't know what the next gate would ask, but he knew this. He wouldn't face it alone. The Starborn were not a race, not a title, not a destiny. They were anyone who chose love over fear, anyone who stood for others when the sky fell, anyone who said no to power that demanded worship, anyone who chose. And far beyond. In a pocket of quiet space, a soft light flickered. Inside it, a heartbeat, a breath, a memory of fire. And a future waiting to wake.